Alright, so a couple of years back, I did a disassemble video on a Smith & Wesson Model 66. This is a Smith & Wesson Model 686. I haven't had any more come across my bench in my basement where it's been easy to take a video. However, I've done dozens of them at the gun shop I work at. So I figured it'd be a good time, since I have this one on the bench, to go ahead and take and do a disassemble video to show what you're getting into to take it apart. So, first thing you're going to do, obviously, clear the gun, make sure it's empty. From there, I've got a gunsmithing screwdriver set. They're cut differently. That's always advantageous to use. So the first things you're going to want to do is the side plate screws. There's normally 3. I'll get this one out of the way first. This one is different. It's shaped differently, and it holds the cylinder in. So I'm going to get this out of the way and keep it off to the side. When they reinstall it, if you note, there's red on it. They usually use Loctite, and you can always tell this is different because it's got a weird shape here, a pin at the front, because it holds the cylinder in. And then out of convenience, we're going to get a little bit of space, pull forward on the crane. We're going to get the cylinder out. That's going to come out of the way. From there, we'll get these other screws loose. Now these 2 screws, I keep them separate, but they are basically interchangeable. They're the same threads. If you request replacements from Smith & Wesson, they'll send you 2 screws in the back. So they're basically the same. I just like to keep them separate. And I've got a little tray to put all my parts. Next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to loosen and remove this screw. This screw holds tension on the mainspring. So I'm going to take that all the way out. Get it out of the way, because when I'm doing my needs here, I am going to completely clean that screw. So having it in the way is having it out of the way is a good thing. Now, this cover plate, you may be tempted to try and pry it. That's not what you want to do. You can bend it and tweak it. I hold my thumb on it, and you wrap it a couple of times with your handle, and it will come up and out. Now if you look, this little piece popped off. This piece is your transfer bar. This sits on the rebound slide on a pin here. When you go to reassemble it, that can be a little funky. That rides in a track on the side plate. Let me get that out of the way. Next thing we got to do is take the tension and take the mainspring out. So since we've taken that screw out, we're going to slide this out sideways, and we're going to unhook this. If you ever get misplaced, it goes underneath, and it goes on this part right here. And that's okay to fall out. We can always put that back in. From there, we got to get some of the weight. So we're going to pull back. You see the cylinder release latch? That's on the inside. Okay? So I'm going to pull back on the cylinder release latch. I'm going to pull the hammer back just a little bit to wiggle it out, or you can take the trigger out. Your personal preference. Just out of ease, I'm going to take the trigger out. I'm going to take and push this fork back, and before I can do that, I got to get the rebound slide out. Alright? It's kind of like a house card. You got to take it out a certain way and put it in a certain way. So to get this out, that way we don't have any spring tension, we're going to pop this sideways. Now there's a spring contained in here. When I get it out, I'm going to capture it. You see how far the spring extends? Get that out of the way. Now everything's going to be easy to move. Your choice if you want to take the hammer out first or the trigger, because they will both come. I am going to take the trigger out. So I'm going to push the pawl back and then push out carefully on the side of the trigger. The pawl can come out, and if it does, it's not too big of an issue, but I usually, unless absolutely necessary, don't take the pawl out. However, to get it out of your way, sometimes you can slide this guy out. Alright, this is what your rebound slide sits in. And there's a little cup for it, and it sits just like this. So as you pull the trigger back, this pushes the trigger forward. Okay, so you can take that out if you choose. I don't take this pawl out. It is spring loaded. I don't take it out unless absolutely necessary. To get it back in there is a royal pain in the ass. Now we're going to get that, come on, get back far enough. We got it, and the hammer's free floating here. I'm going to slide this off to the side very carefully and pop it out. Now, this is spring loaded. Again, this is one of those things I clean around. I don't take it out. It will come out to the side. The spring just kind of holds it in place. I don't take it out unless absolutely necessary. From there, I'm going to get the cylinder release latch loose. Take this off because that's going to come out. And that's not a screw, that's a stud. This is a cap nut. I'm going to keep that in there. Now to get this out, you can pull it back and forth here, but if you notice, without it on there, it's ready to just kind of pop out. So I pull it back just a little bit and wedge it, but we're going to notice down in here, there's a spring and a detent. Those like to fly, so we're going to take and carefully pull it out. Keep that spring detent in place. It won't fit anywhere else. Now, as for the cylinder detent here, I generally don't take those out unless absolutely necessary. Again, you can over push this down, and you can wedge and hook out with a tool like this. So if you get here, see how it comes down? It comes down far enough where you can hold it down and get something underneath it and pull it out. This one's not bad enough where I'm not going to take it out, but it does have some forward to back motion movement, and it's got up and down movement. So you pull it down, and then you can hook it from underneath, pull it out. But then again, this spring's going to want to launch. Now, this is your Hillary lock bullshit. I generally work around them. You can take it out. This piece comes out first, right? So you can take and swing this out, and you can pivot this out. There is a spring underneath, just so you know, but I don't remove them unless I absolutely have to. Then you have access to everything else. Firing pin, as long as it's freely moving, which it is, I don't take out. That's got a pin and capture in place, so I won't take it out unless it's absolutely necessary. And that is how you completely gut a normal internals on a Smith & Wesson revolver.